guys, welcome back to the channel. Giving a little update here on the skid steer. We're going to get back to work on this. This is part 2 of this this repair. But I got a call from John Deere the other day, and they are going to cover the oil cooler under warranty, so that's pretty exciting. So I'm actually getting ready to, I'm going to take the old one up, drop it off, and pick up the new one. And I got to grab some hydraulic oil and some other stuff from them while I'm up there too. So anyway, that's really exciting. We're going to try and get this installed, or at least get it started installing it here this afternoon. So I'll check back in here in just a little bit. Big green machines. It's red, keep it in the shed. All right, hey guys, so I picked up that cooler the other day, got the brand new one, got it here, and now I'm gonna get started on kind of putting this thing back together. The first thing I'm gonna do though is I have to spray this thing down. It is absolutely filthy. There's hydraulic fluid everywhere on this, and so the first thing I'm gonna do is just power wash off all the debris, because I haven't cleaned this, and I usually every 6 months or so go through and clean this thing, and I haven't. It's about due for it anyway, and I haven't done it in a while. So anyway, I'm going to go through power wash. It's just, there's dirt and grass and stuff, and so I'm going to go through and blow all that out, power wash it off, and then after I get all the debris and everything cleaned out of here, I got the cab opened up here too, so I'm going to get in here and clean this out in the engine, or the pump compartment. That's the hydraulic pump, that's the engine back there. But anyway, we're going to clean this out too, get it all washed out, and then after I get it all the debris washed out, then we'll come back with I got some good degreaser, and we're just going to hose this thing down with degreaser, let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll come through, because it's, you can see it's how dirty this is anyway. And this is probably from the last time that I had a hydraulic leak. I just didn't get it quite cleaned enough. In fact, this is a very poor design in my opinion, but this is one of their design flaws on this. This opens up and you can see this, it just traps dust and dirt and debris and stuff in between these two. I have a lot of overheating issues with this, especially when I'm using my shredder, my big rotary mower on the front, because of all the fine dust that gets caught up and it'll get wedged in between here. And so a lot of times I'll have to stop in the middle of mowing and come back and blow this out, because it'll just get caked in between these two. Just, it's a poor design, very poor design. But anyway, so that's what we're going to do right now. I've got it, got everything kind of opened up. I've got all the shields and everything. There's a couple shields on the bottom. I took those off, so everything should drain out, and we'll get this thing cleaned up and blown out, and then probably have to do the degreaser a couple times, especially on these radiators, because these things are so hard to get clean. And you can see down there too on the bottom of that one how bad that is, and same with this one over here. So anyway, let's get started. right, so I got this thing cleaned up. This project is repair has really drug on, but we're finally finally making some headway on it. It took me a couple days to get this thing degreased because I hosed it down. Well, first I cleaned it out, cleaned all the debris and stuff out, all the big chunks, and then I degreased it, or sprayed the degreaser on it and cleaned it out, sprayed it out, power washed it and everything, and it's still one round wasn't going to do it. So I let it dry out, had the fan on it and let everything dry out, blew everything out with the air compressor, and then let it sit. And the next day I came back and I hit it again with the degreaser, and so it did that over a couple days, and I think I got most of it, although I'm sure those radiators, I guarantee you they still have some in them that I didn't get, just because that there's so many little fine little holes. You know, the holes inside those radiators are so small, so I guarantee you I didn't get all of that. So it's that's going to be a process over the next few months. Every time I clean it, I'm just going to have to degrease those a few different times just to make sure I get everything out of there. But and you'll be able to tell too, as soon as I start using it, the dirt's going to cake right on the spots that I didn't get it completely cleaned. So anyway, that's where we're at. I got everything cleaned up pretty good, and for the most part, I got the radiators were my main focus, to get all that cleaned up in there. And then I also cleaned out the compartment here, engine compartment, real good. So I got all the debris out down around where the battery was and down below and everything. So it's pretty good so far. I mean, there's a little bit of residual, but really not much. I got it pretty good. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start putting this back together finally. This shouldn't take too long to get this cooler back in. It really shouldn't. So that's what I'm gonna do right now, is get the cooler set back in here. And I don't know, I've got about an hour and a half, 2 hours here before I have to start doing chores, and I'm thinking I should be able to get this pretty much wrapped up. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. So here's the new cooler. She's looking all sorts of shiny and sexy. So I got the cooler installed. I got the filter housing and bracket back on, and the next thing I got to do, I got to put the battery back in and then put the skid plates on the bottom. And one thing I keep forgetting is this ground connector broke off, and it goes right here. It goes right here on this bolt. So I got to pick one of those up because I keep forgetting about that. It's obviously not really affecting the machine any, but I do need to get that fixed. The other thing I got to do is I got to crawl underneath there and put this plug right here. This is the plug that goes on the or covers the goes on the skid plate underneath and covers the hydraulic fluid drain. So I got to crawl back underneath there one more time and get that thing installed, and then we're gonna fill it up. Here's the hydraulic reservoir right here, and I got to do this when I fill it back up with hydraulic fluid, I got to lower the boom all the way down and then fill it, and that's how you know. And then there's a little sight glass thing right here, and you got to make sure your hydraulic fluid is right there in between, somewhere inside this right here, and then that tells you got enough hydraulic fluid in it. This whole thing, it only takes 5 gallons, and I think I only drained out like 3.5 or so, 3 or 3.5, so it's not going to take that much that much hydraulic fluid to get it filled back up. And then I'll put the blade back on it for the fan too, and then just tidy up a couple things, a couple plugs I got to put back in, the skid plates, that one, and then the one up front I got to put back in. So we'll get that plug put in, get the battery put in, and then probably start filling her up here real quick here. I'm committing a mortal sin. All right, so we got the skid plates back on. Now I got to put the insert back in here for the cab. Just lifts up on this, and then there's a plastic insert that goes in down here at the bottom that your feet and everything sit in. It's right over here actually. That right there just has like 6 bolts I think that hold it in. So I got to slide that back in. That's real easy, and then I think hook the battery up and put the fan blade back on and fill her up with hydraulic fluid, and we're ready to make sure I don't have any leaks. All right, so we just about got this thing put back together. I still have to put the back cover on, I'm not going to do that quite yet because I still need to power wash that. It's still pretty dirty. I haven't messed with the guards. I got to power wash all 3 of the guards actually. So I need to do that first before I put this back on. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple gallons of hydraulic fluid in it just so I can start it up and get the boom down and get it topped off. That way it's ready to go. Make sure there's no leaks, nothing like that. And then once I make sure everything's good, everything's kosher there, then I'll power wash the guards and put those back on. Right there is where I can see I'm full. So I got this thing all back together except for the guards, and I got it running right now obviously. And no leaks or nothing. Everything looks pretty good. I had to, after I filled it, I had to raise it up and lower it a couple times to work the air out of the lines, and then I had to put probably another quart and a half of oil into it. And the one thing with these machines, and I don't know if other skid steers do it, I guess, because I've worked on a couple other, but not very many. But this thing jerks real bad whenever you change the fluid or put new fluid in it, and I'm assuming it's air pockets in there, I guess. I don't know, but as soon as you touch the controls, it'll jerk up or jerk down depending on which way you're going. And it always does that whenever you mess with the hydraulic fluid, and I don't really know why. It'll work itself out after I get it warm and run it around for an hour or so. It goes away, and then it'll do it again, usually 2 or 3 times, and then it's almost like you got to work the oil, break the oil in. Hell, I don't know. It's a weird deal. I don't know why it does it, but it'll go away. Anyway, that's what it's doing right now though. But I got the reservoir full. Everything, it's full of fluid. Nothing's leaking. Everything's put back together. I just got to tomorrow I'll probably, well, we're supposed to get some more snow. I don't know. But I need to get this. I didn't want to power wash this whole thing in the shop because I'd just make a huge mess in here. So my plan is to either tomorrow or the next nice day, get this outside and then actually power wash the rest of it off. I got the radiators and the engine and all that stuff clean, but it needs a bath anyway. And then I can clean I got to clean the guards, the side panels, and that back guard or back panel. And then it's got some other stuff on top that needs cleaned off. But like I said, I didn't want to do it here in the shop because then it'd wind up all over the walls and stuff. So I just did kind of the necessary stuff when I needed to. But anyway, so kind of a recap on this. This could have been a lot more expensive than it turned out to be, and I'm really thankful that John Deere ended up covering that warranty on it. That was pretty cool of them to do that, because really, I mean, they didn't have to. It was over 6 months, so technically they could have told me to pound sand, but they didn't. So that was pretty cool, and it came from John Deere. It wasn't the dealer; it was the actual corporate rep from John Deere that said go ahead and cover it. So that was pretty cool. Thanks to those guys, I appreciate that. But yeah, this easily could have been a $2,000 deal, and the only thing I had to spend was, I think I spent it was a little over $200 for the hydraulic fluid, and that's all that it cost me out of my pocket, other than some time. But whatever, I'm a farmer, you're not supposed to count your time. So anyway, that's the scoop on this thing. It's back to work, and after I get it cleaned up, hopefully tomorrow, then I can get back to using this thing. Man, it's been a pain in the butt not having it. You don't realize how much you use something until you don't have it to use. And this machine, I use it almost daily anymore. Excuse me, especially with this dairy herd. It seems like I'm always moving bales or moving manure or bedding or whatever it is. But I'm always doing something with it, it just seems like. But anyway, well, again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thanks for watching. If you found what I'm doing interesting, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. It really helps us out, and subscribe to the channel too. And thanks for hanging out and coming along, and until next time, you guys have a good one. Thanks.